What's up, gays, straights, and other days? It's Mally. I'm back with another episode of Lady in Mystery on the route that makes me constantly question my sanity. It is lgbtqgame, and we have just finished episode 8, which means onward to episode 9. My head is all over the place today. And we are now... cool. Title card. Episode 9, the song that the wind sings. Okay. Oh, hey Makwa, what the hell? Long time no see. Sir, none of the smithery and metal stores has a kitchen knife. Why do you want a knife, Makwa? Oh, we're off to a great start. Makwa plucked away her skirt, whining in front of our dining table. Woo-sung was grabbing an uncut green onion and milky lard with chopsticks. A small bowl was overflowing even with that one green onion, and so were mine and Juhi's bowls. I had a whole mashed radish on my soup, and Juhi had 5 whole garlic on her soup. Why are we discussing soup? This all started when the kitchen knife was chipped a few days ago. It was quite common that they broke kitchen knives in the kitchen since they used it a lot all day. They even changed their knives twice every 2 weeks. The problem is that all the metal stores on the market were closed. Metal stores. A store that sold metal items like knives, sought, the fuck is sought, or nails. For some reason, the metal stores have been out of steel for quite some time. That's why all the ingredients were not cut and maintained their original shapes. So you're just eating a whole oh, that's so gross. Juhi was looking at the whole cabbage of kimchi and just put the utensils down. I can't eat this even if I have a big mouth like a tiger. Oh my god, gross. Then I could hear the loud voice as Wong Sum got into the tavern. Oh, wait, if you bring Saya and she has a great sword, I'm not gonna disgrace her sword like that. When I opened the door, I could see Wong Sum and Damo Sayan sweating a lot as if they were running. Ah, Sayan, hi! Jumo, can we borrow your hoe? What? They said they have to clean the yard since there's gonna be a big trial, but they were short of lots of tools. So they came here to borrow some tools. You can borrow Woo-sung if you want. Jumo frowned with a troubled look and clenched her lips as she lent a couple of homies to them. That was the last thing we saw before we closed the door again. Woo-sung gave a big sigh with a disturbed face as if he was sitting on the lap of his father-in-law. Why? Why is that the comparison you make? Brother, I was going to get some new needles, but I guess they're still out of the goods. They're gonna restock soon. Hanyang was not the farming city in the first place, and it wasn't the city that produces a lot of goods. With a little exaggeration, it was safe to say that Hanyang was the city that only consumes. You got that right. So even though we're living on Unshang Street where the big marketplace is, there's always been a situation where we couldn't get what we want right away. Let me go look around the outside for a while. Take your time and finish your meal. Your fucking whole ass fucking green onion. I quietly went out through the back door of the tavern right away. And as soon as I went out, I noticed that the whole marketplace was in a state of fuss. Who drained all the steel? Has no one found out yet? Even if someone found out already, there's no way we would know. Hanyang Metal Store monopolizes the steel anyway. I bet that nasty owner of the metal store, Mr. Choi, messed up something. Almost all the stores in Hanyang were on this Unshang Market Street. National stores? The heck? A unique system in Hanyang. They picked random stores to pay extra tax in exchange for the right to monopolize a certain item. The 6 stores that pay the most tax are called 6 stores. All the stores on this market street were especially authorized stores that were allowed to monopolize with extra tax. They were called national stores. The metal store that sells steel now was a monopoly store as well without any competitor. So if something happens to that store, no one in Hanyang could buy a knife or even a needle. The street was so loud with people talking about the metal store. Then someone tapped my shoulder from the back. I wonder who it is. Hi. Hi. When I turned back, Iljime was looking at me with a smile. I felt like all the blood was up in my head for a second. Look who it is! The lady of ladies who is as pure as flowers and so feeble that even the wind can carry her around. Wait, is that meant to be my line? It says Hisu, but I feel like Iljime is the one okay. The most beautiful lady thief with flowing sensual... What the fuck? What? No, it is me talking because I'm not a thief, you are. What? The most beautiful lady thief with flowing... I don't want to read that, so I'm not going to. My noble lady... Okay. I don't know what's wrong with me today, but okay. Oh, I'm being dragged away. This has happened. You could have just told me to be quiet. So it really was me saying, okay, what the fuck, Hisu? Why do you have to strangle me as if you were trying to pop my head? Cause lgbtqgame is as dramatic as we are. This thing you do is too cruel for your pure lady, my lady. Who said lgbtqgame was fucking pure? Enough with that lady, your pure stuff. lgbtqgame was not confident as usual. Instead, her face got blushed with frustration. Why? Then what should I call a mysterious lady who is born beautiful like an angel? Okay, now we just have to be dicking with her. We have to be dicking with her, come on. Oh my, is it because my expressions were too humble? Then what about the greatest beauty of the century that no one can even compete? Gosh, you're so... I stopped after she poked me hard with her elbow. How could she poke me so hard as if I was a real guy? She was the one who couldn't stop mentioning about me being a woman. lgbtqgame was panting for a while, shouting out her frustration, then tapped my shoulder again. I'm utterly shocked by your presumptuousness, but I'll let you off today. Thanks. Because I need you today. What else is new? Ugh, what is it? All the steals are gone from the marketplace. Yeah, I could see that. I want to find out something regarding that situation, so you should come with me to investigate. That's your expertise. You know, you say should, like I have a choice. But we all know you're to drag me along anyway. Is this a request? Are you worried that all the steals are gone from the marketplace? I'm not worried enough to come along with you. How did my bandana fall that far down my head? What the So, is this a request? Ha! Listen, lady. The request from a noble lady starts from 3 nyang to start the investigation, 1 nyang extra for guaranteeing your identity, and another 1 nyang for danger pay. So if you calculate the minimum rate of 5 nyang plus 20% basic rate, you would have to pay at least 6 nyang total to start the investigation at all, Lady lgbtqgame. Give to me. Every time I said lady, her eyebrows flinched a lot. Now that I know she didn't have Adam's apple, her skin was so smooth, and she didn't even have downy hair under her nose or chin. I was too stupid to notice it already. That's it, that's the series. But then lgbtqgame got closer without even hesitation. Just help me out, would you? To be honest, a man died. The owner of the metal store, Mr. Choi, died. Okay, and I should care because... What? I sneaked into the metal store last night. Then I found the owner Choi dead. I got flustered and just left, and I kept feeling weird about it. Oh my gosh. Also, someone saw me on my way out, so I could even be falsely accused. Hey, why did you have to go there? Are you insane? Yes and yes. I mean, all the steals are gone in Hanyang. Who do you think is responsible for it? I thought, of course, that Mr. Choi from the Monopoly Metal Store was trying to raise the price. So I was going to take all the steals from his storage and give them away. Okay, can you give some to us? Because Woo-sung's still trying to eat a whole onion. We don't like our mashed radishes, so give. She's not some random plebeian girl, but a noble lady. She should have just stayed at home, embroidered, and just laughed politely and bowed every time someone visits her. Okay, that's rich coming from you, Hisu, but okay. Why is she jumping over upper people's walls? You live with Juhi! What kind of madness is this? When I saw Shim Juhi running away from home, I thought Northern Village ladies have this crazy side on them, but Southern Village ladies' craziest side is much worse than theirs. Oh. We're just attributing that to insanity. What the fuck ever, Hisu. This country is doomed. Oh, boo, get over it. How did he die? I eventually just gave up and asked what happened. Then lgbtqgame's face got brighter a little, but then she got discouraged again as soon as she thought of the dead body. Well, there was a stab wound on his chest with a knife, and I think he just died right away. I can't know for sure just by listening. Death by strangling and stabbing is especially more complicated, so I would have to look at it myself. There are already policemen in that house, so I can't go there anymore. I wish you could go, but you can't go to the scene where you weren't invited, can you? I do this all the time, and then Soyeon gives me a look, but then I just do it anyway, and then we work together. It's fine. How do you ask this nonsense like nothing? What am I to go to a murder scene when the police didn't even ask for help? I was just asking just in case you go everywhere like a rabbit. What the fuck does that mean? By the way, you were at least a little nicer to me when you thought I was a guy, but now that you know I'm a woman, you are so aggressive to me. I was not nice to you! I have never been nice to you! You're such a brat! How blatantly rude and wicked. It says you. I don't know. Then I'll just try asking secretly around that area. Ugh, why do I have to get involved with you? Just be quiet and follow me. I'll see if I can get the result of the autopsy after they finish examining the body. So until then, shut the fuck up. Yushime was looking at me with a discontented face, tilting her eyebrows. When I snatched her sleeve, she then followed me. Until then, you should lower your face and follow me as if you were my servant. Well, you dress up like that anyway. She's not gonna like that. She's not gonna like that, but I don't care. Come on, little crow, let's go. Unjung Street was crowded with people gathering like the cloud as always, and for some reason, the romance theme is playing. Yushime didn't seem to be out on the street during the day. She got bumped by a lot of people with a little dumbfounded face. Then she got frustrated and started avoiding people showing her skills. Why don't you just get a name tag on your forehead? Only after I scolded her did she trudge again, bumped by the people. Then she got dizzy and dragged me out of the road, asking me to take a break for a while. Yushime jumps over the wall that's taller than her, running on other people's roofs, and she even jumps off the bridge like a cat, but she couldn't get used to the crowd. Well, Juhi always said that she felt dizzy as well. Maybe it's just a Youngmon thing. It's a parkour thing. Yushime sat down on a broken piece of the stairs on the corner of the street and looked at me with a dumbfounded face. The marketplace was still so loud. Yushime gave a big sigh and started complaining, shaking her head. How do you live in this kind of place for 5 years? I don't think I can survive for even a year. It's so loud and dusty, and all the vagrants come here chatting and bumping into each other. If everyone thinks like you, then they would have all moved to Northern Village and lived quietly already. I like living in Unjong Street. I can be the first one to hear all kinds of news. What do you do about the news? Just listening. I mumbled and looked away. The dust wind that Yushime hates blew on my neck. Unjong Street was where all the news from all around the country arrived at last, and all the news from Hanyang spread first. All the big merchants go through here, and it was a busy street where everyone from scholar preparing for the exam and a woman who left her hometown came for the first time. When I first settled down here, I was distracted as well, but I was so sure as well. I was so sure that this was the best place to look for someone. Yup, our revenge. If I keep being in the center of all the news around the country, I'm sure I can find him one day. Then 5 years have passed. I knew about the marketplace in Unjong Street better than any merchant. I knew dozens of names of disappeared wives, and I learned which stores are the 6 stores of Hanyang, the 6 major stores that lead all the merchants in Hanyang. We've already collected the 6 stores definition. Let's just say that the 6 stores have a monopoly, okay? I think we've done this definition before. I knew about the 6 stores association hazing that all the merchants in Hanyang have to go through, and I knew who you should bribe when you want to monopolize a certain item. Okay, I'm getting distracted because this theme is something that I know it's not her theme specifically, but I associate it with Sayan so hard. Like, the heck? It's just, it fits her so well. But I still couldn't find the trace of my enemy. I'm just listening to the news. Are you done taking a rest? Then let's go. Okay. There's gonna be the blacksmith street soon, and if we turn from that place we walked past before, that's where the metal store is. When I reached my hand, Yushime nearly clapped my hand and got up. Oh, come on, little crow, let's go. Oh my god. She's like my little familiar. It is October. Oh. All the blacksmiths on Blacksmith Street weren't doing anything since they have nothing to do, and it was suddenly daytime apparently. There shouldn't have been the overwhelming clanging sounds from the hammers and the smell of fire as soon as we got into the street, but the street was so quiet. After walking for a while, we could finally meet a blacksmith who was making a little sickle, but he just shook his head. We don't have any steel. As I asked a few more times, he gave a sign, pointed here and there at the whole smithery with his tongue. He's like, we don't have any, get out. We can't even sell a knife or a sickle on our own in Hanyang, because only the metal store is supposed to sell anything made of steel. How about we just don't tell anybody, yeah? We can't sell any even if we make 100 knives. Don't you know that's the law? I should have opened the smithery in my hometown self. What? I didn't know that. But why don't you have any steel even in the smithery where you handle iron? I know the metal store is closed, but you're handling iron here. Those were words, I said. Yushime quickly asked again. She was right. The metal store only monopolized the right to sell the goods. They don't produce them. If you think about that, all the goods in the metal store are technically made in the smithery, but why don't they have any products? Well then, can't the smithery just sell the fucking goods to the metal store and then they can sell them back? Isn't that how that works? But the blacksmith looked back and forth at me and Yushime as if we just asked the dumbest question ever. I am used to this look. I get it often. Look, we're buying iron from the metal store in the first place. Hence, we buy iron from the metal store, make all kinds of products, and then sell them back to the metal store. Okay? We can't do anything on our own. What a weird situation it is. It's not weird. You're weird. It's just what it is. We blacksmiths have to pay an expensive price to buy iron bars from them, and then we have to sell the product back at a really cheap price. It's as if we're robbed all the time. Gosh. The blacksmith shook his head, hammering loudly to the sickle blade. Now that the metal store is closed, we can't even buy that expensive iron bar. And since we're out of material, we have nothing to do. Illume turned back and looked around the street again as if she was shocked. It was the middle of the day, but all the lights from the smithery were off and the street was empty. Only a couple of blacksmiths who had nothing to do were fanning on the wooden bench. There were some people who came all the way here trying to get products directly from them like us. Look, you said all the blacksmiths are buying iron from the metal store. Then do you guys see Mr. Choi often? No. We only load the products on the wagon and get material from the wagon, so we don't really know him. I've never even been near his store. Then Illume carefully poked my back with her finger. Why? When I looked her in the eye, she got conscious about the blacksmith and started using a very awkward honorific, trying to act like a servant. Let's go, sir. Okay. I would like to visit the metal store. Alright, let's go, little crow. Can't you walk faster? I thought your face was only the problem, but your steps are even slow and lazy like a cow. Keep walking like that if you want to be tied up in a barn with a cow and share fodder with it, you lazy bones. Oh, I'm milking this, aren't I? How dare... Illume freaked out right away and looked back at the blacksmith, but he was only focusing on hammering his sickle. He didn't care about us at all, but Illume quickly snatched my wrist. Hey, what kind of servant snatches their master's wrist like that? Forget it. I can't pretend to be your servant anymore. What do you think I am? I'm the person who protects justice and the safety of Hanyang, the righteous... Shut the fuck up. The righteous what? She wanted to say the righteous thief Illume, but there were too many people walking around, so she just paused with her mouth open since she was about to say it out loud. Yeah, dumbass. She was so reckless and did whatever she wanted to do at night, but then on Anshang Street in broad daylight, she couldn't do shit. And that made me confident again. Righteous what? Righteous lady from Southern Village who is feeble and pretty like a flower. She's gonna kill me. She's gonna kill me. My little crow's gonna kill me. Illume was swinging her dagger, a veiled threat basically, sitting on the desk in Junghoso and looking up at me. Got it. It all happened because the owner Choi from the metal store started to hide all the steel and not distribute it. But why? And why did he die yesterday? If he was killed, then who killed him? Where did he hide all the steel before he died? And... Yes, I get it. Shut up. Didn't I tell you to answer louder? How come you try to solve everything with force whenever you get in trouble and you call yourself a righteous thief? You know, there was a violent woman like you, and she beat out of her drunk husband. But then the husband died, half because of the alcohol, and half because of the beating. My bandana is slipping again. I saw the body and... Quiet. Fuck you. Yes, sir. I got scolded physically by Illume after making fun of her in front of the smithery and making her furious. When I told her that no one's gonna be in Junghoso today, she pushed me inside right away and tried to break all the bones on my body. Oh my god. If you think about it, she's robbing other people's houses and saying she's doing the righteous thing. She's just born violent and aggressive. Sounds like Juhi. When I thought she was a guy, I thought it was actually a little thrilling and it's quite attractive a bit, but now I take it back. What? Okay, cool. So, what do you think about this situation? I have too little clues to make any conclusion. There's gotta be a reason why he decided to hide the steel, but I have no idea why. That's just so obvious. He just wanted to raise the price of everything made out of steel. You still have a lot to learn, little crow. All the stores on the marketplace in Hanyang are under the control of the Six Stores Association, whether it's a national store that pays tax or a private store that doesn't pay tax. You have to go through hazing even when you're opening a small store since you are the newbie among the merchants here. They make you get naked. Isn't the Six Stores Association a group of 6 stores in Hanyang? Yes, we've been over this. Those are the 6 monopoly stores that pay the largest amount of tax in the nation. Do they control other stores too? Look who's catching on. Young Yongbans would think that the 6 stores of Hanyang are the stores that sell silk, cotton, fancy fabric, rami fabric, and seafood each. So they would think that the 6 Stores Association would be a group of these 6 stores. But if there's any store that pays as much as the 6 stores of Hanyang, then it could be the 7 stores of Hanyang or even 8 stores of Hanyang. Now, 6 Stores Association just means like a group of big merchants gathering together to stop outsiders from settling in Hanyang and competing with them. As Juhi knows everything about Northern Village, and Illume knows everything about Hanyang geography, I knew everything about Anshang Street since I've been living here for 5 years. They just call it the Six Stores Association, but it's actually just a big songdong for all the merchants in Hanyang. As song merchants from Songdo and Mon merchants from Uju gathered around their chairman and their leader, Hanyang merchants gathered as well to fight against the outsiders. Okay, Hisu, now I'm getting bored of this history lesson. The former owner of the Shunghuso was so arrogant about it too, since he was one of the high officials of that association. So, what about it? You saying the owner of the metal store was in the Six Store Association as well? Wow, look how fast you got that. Of course. The metal store is a huge store that monopolized all the products made out of steel in Hanyang. Of course it must have been under the control of the Six Store Association. As I said that sentence, Iljime nodded. I was quite surprised that the conversation ended quickly as I was used to talking to Woo-sung. Oh. So then if the owner of the metal store had tried to do this kind of thing alone without discussing with the other merchants, they would have tried to stop it. And he couldn't have done this alone. Yup. So unless there was an inevitable reason, he wouldn't want to close the metal store. Trust is everything to a merchant. You have learned nothing from Leader Kong, Hisu. There must be a really important reason to cut off all the transactions. Ujime debated, giving a sigh, then jumped off the desk and came right up close to my gat. And like it or not, you have to visit Mr. Choi's house anyway, don't you? Already planning on it. I said I don't want to, my lady. But you have to, don't you? Stop rubbing it in! I hate you so much. The owner of Choi's Gate was already surrounded by policemen. Iljime was sitting on a tree far away from the house, waving her hand at me, and I could only stand on tiptoe and peep over the wall once in a while. From what I could see so far, it seemed like they just started the initial autopsy. There was an official coroner, a few policemen, and the back of Damo. Damo? Sayan! Sayan! There's only one Damo who's willing to come to this brutal crime scene. My friend, my bestest buddy! Damo! I called her, but only a coroner looked back. Damo! When I got surprised and quickly hid under the wall, Iljime shook her head at me on the tree. Why do I have to go through all of this while she's just idly watching everything on a tree? My heart was beating too fast, so I was soothing my heart for a while, then carefully stood on tiptoe again. Huh. Hi! 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 Yeah, we know each other. Yeah, I'm totally embarrassing you at work right now. Hi! 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 It's me, your bestest buddy, Hisu. Hi! I'm the worst. I thought she didn't hear me, but Dama Soyoung was right up close to the wall. We just stood there for a while exchanging eyes. Hi. Soyoung moved first. She turned around quietly like a shadow in the night, stepped out of the gate. Please, don't interrupt the crime scene. No, I was just curious about the autopsy result. Don't worry about it. I won't embarrass you at work too much. That is also interrupting. No, it's not. Not if you come with. Come with! Soyoung was adamant. There must be Wongsum somewhere inside then. She seemed more adamant today, as if she wanted to send me away before Park Wongsum sees me. What? Let me see him! Let me see him! He's a friend too! I waved my hand, stepping back away from the wall a little. Interrupting is quite a strong word, don't you think? That's more like if I give you advice when nobody asks, call Wongsum and have a secret conversation, ignore you when you stop me from doing something, or pretend I didn't hear anything when I'm in trouble. I feel like I'm gonna do all of that in that order, but I'm also like, I'm picturing like me just like slinging my arm around her shoulder and having this conversation with her. But yeah, I feel like I'm about to do all of that in that order. But I won't do any of these today. I don't believe you, Hisu. That's what we do always. I didn't know you were aware of your behavior so well. Yeah, a little bit. Soyoung gave a sigh with a sensitive face and swept her dark glossy hair up with her fingers. Then she looked around and looked up at me again. Do you want to know the result of the autopsy? I can tell you a little if you promise it's all you want. Sure. Yay! Yay! I love it. I love this so much. Finally, my Damo is flexible. Please stop talking like lady. Soyoung pulled out a little wooden panel and a note with a brush on the mouth and started explaining the structure of the room, drawing it with the brush. We found a stab wound on his left chest. Again with the left chest and the right chest thing, it's been a while. Which is in the middle of his heart. There was no other wound there, and there was no sign of resistance at all. The cause of death was copious bleeding from his wound on his heart. The scene was so clean, so even a coroner was confused if it was a murder or a suicide. Also, his new assistant was dumb enough to cut the clothes with scissors. Wait a minute. We just did Leader Kong's route, and in that one, other than the depression that followed, we found out that the leader of the metal store killed himself. So is this the same timeline then, except only this time Yuri and I aren't together on this route? So the events are still happening, but just without that change? So then I already know the answer, it's a suicide if that's the case. Seoyeon frowned with anger. How can someone cut the clothes of a dead body when there's the possibility of a murder? Can you imagine? He did such a horrible thing, but Inspector Park didn't even scold him and just said, "Things happen, haha." Aww, Tamo. Seoyeon looked away for a moment and frowned. Then she showed me her note gracefully as if she wasn't frustrated at all. Aww. There was each reason to see it as a murder and a suicide. The reason we thought it might be murder is that there was only one wound. Usually when someone commits suicide with a knife, there are at least more than 2 wounds, because they hesitate. Right. No matter how determined you are, it's hard to cut yourself at once. It's even harder to stab your own heart once like this. We're so fucking casual about this, what the hell? And the reason we thought it might be suicide is because there was no sign of resistance? Yes. Yay, best friends! And the knife he used was his knife that he used all the time. The knife was in the chest, neatly stuck in the body. If it was a murder, there would have been any sign of resistance. I looked around inside the wall and looked back at Seoyeon. She wasn't anxious at all, and she even looked a little relaxed. I guess they were wrapping up now. If the investigation was still going on, she should have been so anxious that Park Wong-sun might see me in any second. You've already come to a conclusion? Yes. The owner Choi of the metal store killed himself. There's nothing you can do for us today. Go away. Seoyeon looked at me in the eyes, nodding in confidence. And what made you come up with that conclusion? First, I asked the coroner to bring back the clothes his assistant cut. Then I found that the clothes were intact except for the part his assistant cut with the scissors. People tend to look for the way to die quickly and with less pain when they try to kill themselves. The owner Choi must have listed his clothes and checked the spot to stab. Otherwise, there should have been a cut from the knife on the clothes. But there was no cut on the clothes. Indeed. It can be explained if it was a murder. If it was a murder, the killer wouldn't lift Mr. Choi's clothes to stab his heart. There's no reason to do that, and even if he just felt like doing it, it would have been impossible not to leave any sign of resistance. Also, the wound implies that he was stabbed once, but really powerfully. That's why I thought it might have been a murder, but he could actually do it alone if he falls on the knife on the floor or hit on the wall really hard. With a little knife like this kitchen knife, he has to fall down on the knife on the floor to increase the chance of success. And if he does that, the direction of the wound will be heading upward. And the wound, in fact, was heading upward. Seoyeon explained fluently and described perfectly the height and length of the knife with hand gestures. She was so focused, and her voice and gesture were more vigorous than ever. It's the most adorable thing I've ever seen. It was all going to be Wong-sun and Superintendent Jung's credit, but she didn't seem to care at all about credit in the first place. Aw, well you should get more credit, babe. Then I thought there must be a mark from the handle of the knife on the floor. So I wiped out the blood on the floor and searched for it. And as expected, I found a dent on the floor covered in blood. After finishing the explanation, Seoyeon stood a while as if she was checking if I have anything more to ask and then turned around. Wait! As she bowed and turned around, I added, "Ask Inspector Park to buy you some beef, Seoyeon. You should take about half of his salary. That's just fair." But there was no answer. Aww. Instead, I could hear Iljime jumping off the tree. Wait, hey, what are you doing? Iljime moved aside and dragged me by my wrist. Who killed him? Oh my god! I'm trying to get my Damo to value herself more, and you're impatient little fucking shit! Did they find the suspect? Well, go on. He killed himself. You happy? Okay, we're leaving now. Iljime kept spinning the gray-brown globe, giving a sigh over and over as soon as we got into Junghuso. Leader Kong bought this globe for me when she went to Qing the other day. Aww. Oh, she's still bringing me things. I still love you. The dust was fluttering everywhere that the sun shines. Whether I sneezed or not, Iljime kept distractedly touching the globe with the tip of her fingers. Can we also have her come visit? Please, 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 I miss her. Did they do the autopsy properly? Are you questioning my Damo's methods? Because she is very smart and big brain. Bigger brain than my brain. How dare you? That Damo is way smarter than any regular policeman. I could tell that she investigated meticulously. There was nothing suspicious or rough. Then what should we do now? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Leave. Why did he kill himself? Why do you care? Was there any suicide note? Even if there was, they wouldn't tell us. Iljime's innocence is proved already, anyway. but she was still anxious. She told me that she saw a dead man when she went to rob the metal store, and that the reason she came to me was that she was worried that she might be falsely accused. Well, it's fine. He killed himself. So let's go. And it was clearly confirmed that the dead man killed himself. She was cleared of the charge, so it took the big load off her mind. But we were still disturbed after hearing that the owner Choi killed himself. The case was kind of closed, but somehow it felt leery, and it didn't feel like the case was closed at all. What? Iljime looked up, rubbing her temple. Whether there is a suicide note or not, there's got to be a reason he killed himself. Of course there is a reason when a merchant killed himself. What if he wasn't hiding the steel but he lost all the steel as well? What are you talking about? Like he got robbed, for example. I mean, I don't think any thief would steal that heavy steel, but whatever the reason was, what if he lost it, not hid it? And before I even finished my sentence, Iljime shook her head. No, I don't think so. Actually, I went to the storage before I went to his bedroom. There was nothing, not even a sickle in the storage, so I went to his bedroom to ask him where he hid all the products. You went to ask? What the fuck, Iljime? Then I saw a dead body. And? When I opened the storage, there was nothing, but there were a lot of iron bars. He stacked up the giant iron bars that are so big that I couldn't even carry in the storage. What? He had iron? Then he should have just given them to the smithery as usual. That's why I think it's weird. Why did he stack up the iron bars instead of giving them to the smithery? Why did he close the store and make this situation happen and even kill himself when he had those iron bars? Iljime was now whipping the globe as if it was a top. Hey, be careful with that. That's from the love of my life. I got frustrated suddenly and took that globe away from her. Give me that. You're gonna break it. I got this as a gift from the love of my life. Then Iljime realized that the thing she was touching was not just a piece of wood, but an object with some letters on it. She looked at my arms hugging the globe. Then she crossed her arms and narrowed her eyes. Who gave it to you? My wife. I got this from a close friend. A close friend who? None of your fucking business. Oh, was it that woman who looks like this? Iljime started moving the tail of her eyes with her hands and gave me a nasty smile. She does not do that. How dare you? Fuck you. Ho ho, Mr. Hisu. Ho ho, I'm very glad to see you again. Fuck off. Get the fuck out of here. But then it was more like just a random gisang than Leader Kong. Yeah, she does not do that. Fuck you. Her laughter was not similar to that of Leader Kong at all. It just sounded like a clown girl, which is what Iljime is, so I guess that works. Iljime exaggeratedly imitated Leader Kong for a while and then suddenly stopped and crossed her arms again. Iljime has been going around everywhere in Hanyang and she knows everyone around me, so she must have seen Leader Kong for at least a few times because baby can't stay away and I do not blame her. Who was it? You seem to think you know with your shit impression of her. Leader of Songbong? Sure enough, she guessed correctly right away, even though her impression was shit. I can instinctively feel that she and I are not really compatible. No, back the fuck off. Absolutely not. I've only seen her from a distance, but I don't really feel good about her. You shut your fucking mouth. You stop this slander at once. Iljime muttered to herself and then slapped the globe in my arms as she was slapping a human. Hey! Don't! It's not really surprising anyway since I haven't seen anyone who really likes her other than me. Yay, we're admitting it! Her reaction was very mild compared to Juhi and Woo-sung's abhorrence towards Leader Kong. Well, let's see. Woo-sung has an unhealthy obsession with me. Juhi might still have a tiny crush on me, but also Leader Kong just annoys her in general, so I guess that makes sense. Anyway, let's go out again. Why? To where? Anywhere. We should investigate more anyway. Why? It's closed! Ugh, fine. Just drag me along, why don't you? The metal store was crowded with people around. All kinds of people were pestering in front of the closed metal store to give them products. The owner was not there since he was already dead, so young clerks and a secretary that didn't look sociable were waving their hands not knowing what to do. I said we don't have any. We don't have any product. Seriously, for God's sake. Go find the iron. At the same time, Iljime went to the back and was climbing up the wall. There usually aren't many two-story buildings due to feng shui, but on Unjong Street, quite a lot of stores built another floor above their roof since there were too many buildings in a small area. And Iljime went to the second floor after jumping only twice and looked back at me, hanging on the window. You should just find your own way in through the first floor. Fuck off. I'm sure you can talk your way in. I'll open the door when you come up. Thanks, little crow. You don't have to jump onto the window in the middle of the day to prove that you are a thief! Iljime put her finger inside the paper door and unlocked the door, and then she disappeared inside. I couldn't ask her to pull me up when there was not even a wall. So I had to push through the crowd and went through the front of the store. Then I caught eyes with someone familiar. Oh, hello. Well, this is your servant. It's not you, but I guess this is fine. Yeah. That's Butler Zhang who works for Leader Kong. Unfortunately, not the lady herself. But send her my best and tell her to come over. Butler Zhang debated a little when he saw me, then he bowed. Okay. But then he disappeared into the crowd right away. Okay. People poured in before I even had the time to get flustered, and I got pushed to the metal store. The back of Butler Zhang got out of my sight. In the midst of the chaos, someone smashed the empty stall with anger. My master told me to get a knife no matter what. How come you don't even have a single knife? At that moment, I found a crevice at the bottom. The metal store stall was quite high. I don't know if it was cracked because people kept smacking it or was supposed to be like that, but there was enough space for a girl to squeeze in. I quickly pushed my gat over my back and squatted. I crawled a little like that, and I felt like I could get inside. The sound of people smacking the stall over me sounded like thunder, and the floor was wet. As I tried my best not to touch the ground and put my head inside, I could see the back and the hips of the clerks who were busy stopping people from getting inside. You can't barge in like that. There's nothing inside anyway, sir. Move! Everyone move! Hey, Dogi. Dogi? What? Hey, Dogi, go check if all the smitheries are still closed. Ask them, even if just a couple smitheries, to start making the products again. Tell them we'll just give the iron for almost for free. Huh? I'll go right away. Gosh, this never happened in the last 10 years. What chaos. Guys, I said go back. The smithery's not making products. None of these voices are consistent. At the smithery, they said they can't make products because the metal store didn't give them iron. But now the metal store blamed the smithery for not making products. It didn't add up. Even while I was eavesdropping, the stall never stopped making the thunderclap like Zhanghuso roof on a rainy day. I had to run at least 6 steps to the stairs. Iljime told me to come up to the second floor by any means, but I didn't think I could run from the stall to the stairs to the second floor at once. I could see about 6 legs in front of me right now. What should I do? Oh, go up to the second floor, I guess? But she told me to come up. I can't just go back. I took a deep breath and started running towards the second floor. The clerks got surprised and jumped in front of me. I got blocked by big bulky guys before I could take 2 steps. Oh, this was probably not wise. Who are you? What are you? This is getting insane. Sheesh, get him out. They grabbed my arms and legs and I got thrown outside right away. But still run to the second floor again? I gotta, come on. I said no. I got caught even sooner this time. They almost punched my shoulder and then pushed me outside. I don't think I can go up to the second floor like that. I should think of something else. Go again. 60 years later! That old man came again. He's been trying to get up to the second floor for 60 years now. He went senile. What? That poor old man. He's been coming here since I was young. I still haven't given up and kept trying. I don't remember well and why I started this, but I feel like I have to go up to the second floor. The metal store knocked down the second floor 40 years ago already. Now there's only a frame left at where the stairs used to be. But I'm still trying to get up to the second floor. When I go upstairs, I don't know. I don't know what was on the second floor. The second floor. I have to go to the second floor. Okay, we're back. Let's go. Perhaps we go back. I ended up crawling back out again. I gasped my breath out. But I saw a bearded clerk who was called Dogi earlier pushing through the crowd. He was sent to go to the smithery. Instead of going upstairs, I started to chase Dogi. As soon as he got out of the crowd, he started to run towards the blacksmith street. Okay. The blacksmith street was empty just like when Iljime and I came earlier. It was even emptier since there weren't any people on the bench anymore. I walked behind the clerk named Dogi, folding my hands behind my back. Then I saw something interesting. Everywhere Dogi goes, people turn their backs on him. What kind of name was Dogi? Even though they were not working, some blacksmiths were just sitting on the corner of the smithery, feeding their dogs or just fanning themselves outside. But as soon as they saw Dogi, they all just walked away and avoided him. How... Dogi started going in places and begging to blacksmiths. Please, can you make products again? At least just a few lives. You can't sell anywhere but our metal store anyway. It's illegal. We have to deal with each other for a long time whether you like it or not. You gonna cut us off forever? Should have treated us better then. Move. I've got nothing to say. Unbelievable. You harassed us before, now you're just nagging us to make products for you as if we are your servants. Goodbye. No one's desperate enough to make you a new knife, even if you gave the iron for just 1 poon or even for free. Clearly, blacksmiths were blatantly avoiding the clerk from the metal store in Hanyang. It was odd. When we came earlier, they said they can't make anything since the metal store doesn't give them any iron. But now they're not going to make any products even though the clerk from the metal store is begging them. What is going on? Are these two facts all true in some way? Or is one of them a lie? Maybe they're both true because the fucking dude was hoarding iron. Let's say those two facts are both true. Then let's hear what might have happened. First, the metal store didn't give iron to the smithery. Blacksmiths couldn't make any product. They all got pretty mad. Next, for some reason, the metal store decided to give iron again. They offered the iron for almost free and begged them to make products again. But then the smithery refused it. It looked like psychological warfare at a glance. But if you think about this as a power game to gain more power over each other, then it doesn't make sense. Even though the metal store did something wrong to the smithery first, there's no advantage to the smithery in obstinately refusing like this. The metal store now offers to give them the iron almost for free. It's a really good chance for the blacksmiths to make a really good profit for what they're losing for closing the store for a few days. Are they really refusing this great opportunity for their feelings? Also, there's a bit of contradiction in the metal store's stance. If the owner of the metal store had a plan when he decided not to give the iron to the smithery, even though they have it, then it doesn't make sense that now he decided to give the iron for almost free and make a big loss. Well, the owner's dead. Even a 3-year-old wouldn't make that stupid plan. Then one of them has to be a lie. Okay, fine. The blacksmith we met earlier lied. Then I heard people running from the back. All the clerks and the secretary off from the metal store all came running from the blacksmith's street. I bet they all got desperate and came to see what's going on since Dogi wasn't coming back for so long. The blacksmiths got startled as they saw those people from the metal store as if they just got burned, and they got inside and locked the door. I don't know how they appeased people went out of the metal store, but almost all clerks I saw from the metal store were there. That means the metal store will be completely empty now. I quickly started to go back where I came from. Ooh, smart-ish. The metal store was closed and only some angry old men and some servants were sitting there, waiting for the runaway clerks and the dead owner. I checked that only a young clerk was occasionally coming in and out of the door and went around back to get inside. The back door wasn't locked as expected. As I carefully slid in, I could see the back of the young clerk only taking care of the stall side. While the clerk opened the front door and checked the outside, I hurriedly went up the stairs. As soon as I got upstairs, a hand reached out of the corner and dragged me inside. Oh, hey. What took you so long? Fuck you! The metal store sent someone to the blacksmith street, so I just went to chase him. There was no way I could go upstairs before the first floor got empty anyway. Otherwise, I'd be doing it for 60 years. Oh, I thought you were struggling on the first floor the whole time. Fuck you. Because I found something that I wanted to show you, but it took forever for you to come. So did you find anything out while chasing him? Listen, I think the smithery broke off business relationships with the metal store first. They did it first? Yeah? Remember the blacksmith we met earlier said that he can't make any product because the metal store didn't give him the iron? The truth is, it was not because of the metal store. The blacksmiths just decided not to make the products for them anyway. I think all the blacksmiths decided to break off business relations with the metal store altogether. So the blacksmiths didn't get the iron and didn't sell the products? Correct. But that's the weird part. They can go without making the products for about 2 weeks, but if it goes longer than that, they are going to make a loss. But they all acted so confidently as if they found another way to make a profit. They kept refusing to make any product even though the metal store offered to give them the iron for almost free. Then I could hear the rustling in Iljime's hand. It was a bunch of letters. Then Iljime realized that she had them and showed me the paper. This is what I found. I think these were the letters that the owner of the metal store was writing before he died. I think he was apologizing to someone, but the bottom part is all torn apart, so it's hard to tell who this was for. But then when I flip through it, I think I can see who he was writing to. Iljime gave me the pieces of tangled paper one by one. I'm the owner of the metal store, Mr. Choi. I'll come to Mapo Port. I wonder if we can meet and talk about this. Can you please sell 100 units of knives, homies, and sickles each and 10 plows? I'll pay double the market price. That place is the storage for Songdo merchants. I'm sure there are plenty of goods there. Please have some mercy. I know that there will be knives in Songbong. I was extremely inappropriate to you in the past. Please forgive me and forget all my terrible sins. When I get through this crisis with your generosity, Madam Leader, I will... Leader Kong. What do you mean you were inappropriate? I'm about ready to throw hands with this dude. Oh wait, he's dead. I will spit on his grave. Songdo merchant, Mapo Port, Madam Leader. Words were floating around my head and suddenly formed the face of one person. Iljime's voice from earlier overlapped in my head with different feelings. Who was it? Leader of Songbong? Yup. Then I started to search through the drawers on the second floor. While I searched through the ledger and some documents the owner Choi left, the owner Choi's letter was getting completed as one whole letter in my head. The owner of the metal store in Hanyang was begging to a merchant from outside, Songbong Leader. It was more than just asking for selling some knives and sickles. They just call it the Six Stores Association, but it's actually just a big songdong for all the merchants in Hanyang. As song merchants from Songdo and mon merchants from Uiju gathered around their chairman and the leader, Hanyang merchants gathered as well to fight against the outsiders. At that moment, I felt enervated. I got it. I found out what happened. What? What does it mean that the Six Stores Association in Hanyang monopolizes most of the items in the world? We have gates. East Gate, South Gate. The outskirts area are where 2 shopping streets are located. Merchants from outside Hanyang who couldn't do business inside Hanyang because of the Six Stores monopoly did business in this area. It means, in other words, that no merchant from outside can do business in Hanyang at all. Even that great leader Kong can't do business in Hanyang. No, she does it somewhere else, but that's okay. She only got the major markets outside the East Gate, South Gate, and the street corner outside the capital. The metal store monopolizes the metal sales in Hanyang. Anyone violates this will be in trouble for violating the national law. So the smithery has to buy iron for making the products from the metal store and sell the products back to the metal store. The smithery is the one who makes the greatest loss because of the metal store. Why are you repeating this again? We heard it together earlier. But there's one more group that would hate the metal store. Merchants from outside. They can never sell any metal products in Hanyang. All the metal products in Hanyang are monopolized by the metal store, which is one of the Six Stores Association. Not even the great Song, Monsong, or Naesong could sell metal products inside the capital. I heard that all the projects outside the capital were handled by merchants from Songdo, Uiju, and Dongdae. But no one can do business in Hanyang, because not just the metal store, but most of the stores in Hanyang are national stores that have the right to monopolize the items. But what if the smithery in Hanyang started to sell farming tools to merchants from outside? For example, what if they carry their products outside the capital on a wagon and send them to Song or Monsong? What? Then where would they buy the iron in the first place? That's where I could draw another conclusion. Someone from the outside must have started to sell iron with a cheap price to the smithery. Blacksmiths were already mad at the metal store in Hanyang for making them buy iron at a high price and sell the products with the price so low that they don't really get much product out of it, or profit. So it would have been a sweet offer for them. Someone must have promised them they would sell iron at a low price and buy their products at a high price. Then all the blacksmiths started to make a deal with them and brought all the metal products from outside the capital? What the? Yeah, but the metal store couldn't stop the blacksmiths from doing it, because theoretically that doesn't violate the metal store's monopoly, right? Because they're not selling the iron inside the capital. But the metal store couldn't sell the iron bar anymore, couldn't buy the metal products anymore. All the iron bars stacked up in the owner choice house became garbage. My gosh, then the monopoly right that the metal store has become... Yes, it became completely useless, and I think Leader Cog's behind it. Oh, yay. Does that mean we're to see her on this route again? Oh, please. Yes? Maybe. Someone purposely attacked the metal store. One of the Six Stores Association got rid of the metal store, which was as solid as the stone castle, out of the display. It completely destroyed, not just any store, but the great metal store's monopoly right with an enormous amount of money and power. The owner Choi was on the verge of closing the store, tried to write the letter to beg out of desperation, but ended up tearing the letter apart and killed himself, to keep at least his dignity as a great merchant. Then I could see the letters on the paper Iljime was holding. Songbong leader. All of this happened from the hand of Songbong leader Kong Yurin. Oh, I knew my baby was behind this. She's so smart. Oh, yay. That means we're gonna see her, right? That's what that means? We're gonna see her? Oh, please, please, yay. Ah, my heart. I had a feeling, because, like, we briefly explored this in, like, her route for a bit. Okay, well, if that's the case, then we're gonna have to pick this up next time, because I'm just so excited. Oh my goodness. Listen, we may be on Iljime's route, but my heart will always belong to her. Anyway, thank you so much, whoever happens to be watching this. Like, comment, subscribe, it really does help me out. And until next time, bye! So if you calculate the minimum rate of 5 yang plus 20% basic rate, you would have to pay at least 6 yang to total to start the investigated... The math made my brain hurt.